All right, what's up, Cyber Traders? Welcome on back here this Thursday afternoon, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and of course, this February 3rd, I should say, for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, and of course, for all of us live inside Cyber Group. Welcome on back to our afternoon meeting. So great to see Chuck, great to see Ron, Mark, all of us kind of just coming on back inside the live trading room right now. It's been a snoozer of a day, folks. I mean, really, not a whole lot to work with. Markets have been dropping off, of course. We were kind of anticipating that heading into the market open this morning. And I'll talk to you about that in just a second. But with that in mind, I mean, hey, although the markets are beginning to pull back here, there haven't really been too many volatile, great shorts that we could really make some good money with so far, at least, speaking for the afternoon. The morning, we did pretty nicely, at least on SoFi, AMC, the usual side list stocks that could potentially move with the market. So for right now, I have 8 p.m. here on my screen just to begin. I had a small screen share issue just earlier, folks. So I hope that everybody not only could hear me loud and clear, but hopefully everybody could see the screen pretty clearly for right now. Nonetheless, APM's on the screen. It's just up about 22% for right now. Oh, whoops, I was zooming out there. It's not doing a whole lot, making lower highs. It pulled back. Actually, chart's really spotty. So, I'm not too particular about this. I kind of just came back to my desk here, just scanning around prior to us starting. So, let's move right from top to bottom as always. Any of the stocks that we may have caught from the morning, we'll quickly recap. Today's Thursday, so no Bitcoin today, but we'll briefly at least, go through the list and see what we could work with. The TLMD to begin. The only reason I'm clicking this just to make the point even further, folks. We talked about this back in the phase one course, 2 weeks ago at this point. Ended up just, when news comes out of a buyout, this is the end result. Just, we end up seeing the stock gap up or pop up to the price in which it's, likely acquired at, price per share transaction, that is. And from there, it's just flat. Maybe a more expensive buyout can make a bit of a move. It might trade in like a dollar range or a 50-cent range, depending on how expensive the trade really is. I remember stamps.com once that got bought out, however many dollars it was, like $300 a share. Yeah, it was trading like a dollar channel, right? This thing's $2.80 stock. It's nowhere near worth trying to trade the stock here. So, we did not put this on our watch list. We were, smart enough to not do that at least. So, it wasn't worth it at all, right? Always like to show this just for reinsurance though, or reassurance though. All right. KAVL as we keep going. I had the word insurance there in my head because I'm getting double charged this month. How about that? Switching from one insurance company to another. I was just dealing with that on the phone before. So that's how my day's been going. KAVL for right now, it's a cheapie. Pushing up quite a bit for right now. I mean, just because it's below a buck doesn't mean that we're not going to trade it. It's pushing up really nicely for right now. So for the meantime, I guess I'll put this on our list to begin. Notepad here. Get my pen ready. There we go. KVL. All right, so we keep it going. The BCDA trade, this was a bust. Unfortunately, this kind of joins the ranks this week of, what was it, the one from yesterday, the OLB stock, the MDJH trade. A lot of those stocks that from this week that were up big in pre-market, that were cheap, looking pretty good. This offered us maybe a little pop after the open, a pop from like 2 up to 230, 225-ish. But after that, the wheels fell off. Once the volume dies off, so does the stock. I always say that here. So nonetheless, this ended up pulling back down. It's not worth it here for the afternoon. And also, really quick, just to check in while I'm at it, on the MDJH stock, I don't know if I would have found that on the losers list or not. It's down 10% from yesterday's close even. So it had dropped off, going into the after hours, into the pre-market this morning. So, that's where we say we never want to turn a day trade into an overnighter, right? Recklessly without any, real reason behind it. It's if you're trying to gamble, this is not the place or time to do it. OLB, same thing. Back from yesterday, top percent gainer yesterday morning. It ended up actually closing lower than it had opened up, which is pretty interesting. Popped up, then pulled back, and then even further this morning. So just getting back to the BCDA trade, I mean, you tell me. It doesn't seem like this stock's going to make a big pop here heading into the close. And if it does, then God bless. I'd be the first to try and call it out and look to trade it. But, it doesn't seem likely. And with that, it only seems more likely that come tomorrow morning, we're going to see this stock on the percent losers list down more. VWAC, or VMAC. Geez, my dyslexia getting in my way there. 526,000 shares. It's just dropping off, and all the rest. So keep moving. APM, we started off on the stock actually here, so we're going to move on from this here. Still pulling back, not doing a whole lot. Now we have this ETF cold, KOLD. It looks like natural gas ETF. Ended up making a nice retracement back up this morning. It looks like for the last week and a half, 2 weeks, the stock's been getting crushed. Or ETF, I should keep I get that from Fausto. This ticker keeps getting crushed, right? This is an ETF, not a stock, mind you. But for right now, relatively volatile heading into this time of the day. So it ended up making a bit of a slingshot from 24.75 up to nearly 26, topped off at the high of the day from pre-market there and then pulled back. It's like range bound, but it's volatile, and volatile in a good way, at least. Felix, one of our longtime students inside the Cyber Group room, he just cleaned up. He got about, what was that, 68 cents, Felix? 65, 68 cents on a short on KOLD. Perfect. Always got to request the shares first for a stock that's hard, or for a ticker that's hard to borrow. But nonetheless, if your broker can give the shares to you, then go at it, right? So Felix, one of our longtime veteran students, he knows his stuff here, and he picked up a really nice trade. Nice. So cold, I don't know. I'm not fully committed to this one just yet. I'll come back to it at the end if I need to. I saw this INDO trade, former runner from maybe a week or 2 weeks ago, or last week, I guess, but ended up making a nice little move this early afternoon, pushed up from 410 up to 440, ended up pushing up higher heading into this time of the day here. The pullback down is actually kind of detracting me a little bit here. It moved up pretty nicely going into 230, right back down, and that's never too good. So we're going to move on from this one here too. I mean, hey, right? I mean, face it, there's probably more on the loser's side anyway with the market tanking. So, I always say that here in this meeting, but I always got to go through the gainer side first. There might be, a stock that's coming out with really good news, or for whatever reason going against the grain. There were a couple that were this morning, and not ETFs, but stocks actually, tickers like DWAC, and ended up making a pretty good pop, at least upon the market opening up. Made the slingshot later on up towards 87 or 86.50. The PHUN trade went with it. That those seem to trade relatively similar at times. And then the CFEI too. CFEI is also becoming, more of a known ticker, more of a known stock that could trade with the DWAC and funds. So those moved up nicely, at least this morning. CFEI is shortable out of those three. This one actually is easy to borrow. It's dropping back down. That does present some opportunity, but again, not fully committed to any of them really just yet. Just wanted to check in with them pretty quickly. CAPR not doing a whole lot right now either. All right, let's just do it. We'll hop over to the losers list. Of course, with the market down, UVXY, all of the inverse ETFs are up. Hey, Cold was on this gainers list here this afternoon so far. SQQQ, VIX, VIXE, UVXY, you name it. We were following UVXY from earlier today, right? So we'll jump back to those if we need to, but for right now, let's just move over to the losers list here. I mean, it's crazy day. I don't know how often it is that you see such name brand mega cap stocks like Facebook or Snapchat. I don't know if you consider Snapchat a mega cap or large cap, whatever it is. It's a very large company, valuation wise. Them, Spotify, Pinterest. I mean, all these major companies down 15+% today. It's not too often that you happen to see that. So I ended up actually taking a nice little snapshot of that. We'll probably show it in a class, just going over, at least what happens when a lot of these big name stocks report bad earnings. The market tanks right away, and that's effectively what happened heading into the afternoon yesterday. I would pull up the main SPY chart actually to show it, because I think the 5-minute here, it doesn't show the activity here in the after hours. But of course, you see the gap down. We all know the market gap down heading into the open here this morning. But it was mainly off of a big drop based off of bad earnings from Facebook. We ended up seeing Snapchat go with it. We ended up seeing Pinterest go with it. I know that there's some bigger companies also, like Spotify, of course, that reported earnings in the after hours last night. So, hey, Facebook, listen, it's at the lows of the day right now, going with the market presumptively. Not fully because the market's dropping lower right now, whereas Facebook's kind of holding here for a little bit. But between Facebook, like I said, Snapchat, we're going to probably re-add all of these to our main watch list so far. Specifically, the Snapchat trade. This one's obviously well more within our price range for right now. Just broke below 25 again and dropping off pretty steady. So that seems to be working out pretty well in the short. RFP. Yeah, not really doing a whole lot right now. I just wanted to look at it pretty quick. What else we got here? Spotify. Not really dropping off as quick as Snapchat or near the lows like the Facebook trade, so we'll pass on this for right now. PAGS. I got to expand the price column here for right now. Just give me a quick second. Yeah, PAGS looks pretty interesting. PagSeguro Digital Limited. It's at the lows, good order book, shortable. So all of that piques my interest for right now. PAGS. And I don't know if this is at all-time low territory. It definitely looks like multi or 52-week lows. You got to go back to 2000. Not all-time lows, but we're steadily getting there, right? All-time low on this trade, I reckon, is 1358. So we'll check back in with this one easily come tomorrow if it doesn't do well from this point forward. But we're definitely going to focus on this here for the afternoon, the PAGS. All right, so really quick, let me just quickly skim through the losers list here for right now. I know that there's a lot more that's down that 5 or 10+%, folks. So for all of us on YouTube or Facebook today, or for all of us live inside the cyber group room, like Kathleen or Leda or Ari or Grant, Gary, I need a little help. Let me know if there's anything else that looks pretty good heading into the afternoon. One answer right away is the stock I just clicked on, Square. So we're going to put this back on our list here, Square. And when I say back, I mean, I don't know if we specifically put Square on our watch list from yesterday, but it moves with PayPal. And if Square is dropping, I move right back to PayPal here. And PayPal, although, expensive, it has a really good order book for a $124 stock. That's for sure. So we'll definitely put this back on our watch list, the PayPal trade alongside Square. Gary on SoFi getting about 45 cents. Nice. Excellent. That took a while, Gary. And I was in that trade earlier too from the 12 level. Did pretty well. I got stopped out at first. Then I ended up jumping back in. I almost thought I chased it, but it ended up dropping off after. I caught like the decent part of it after, but it was tricky. You held on for a nice portion of that trade. He just got out on his short from 11.99 down to 11.53. Excellent. All right, I may as well say it now for all of us on YouTube today. If you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, feel more than free to go right down to the link on the banner below there just to get yourself started. So you could trade alongside students like Gary and Ron and Ari and perhaps myself and Fausto, of course. So, if you wanted to do that, feel more than free to do so. Ron says F earnings after the bell. So that will be more so one that we'll like to follow probably heading into the open tomorrow morning. You know what? Ooh, it's dropping off pretty nicely. I mean, it is at major support though. So my gripe on it is that normally stocks don't really perform that well heading into earnings, either way, up or down. Like, there's not as much volatility heading into earnings. A lot of volume traded, but there's more hesitation just based around what's going to happen coming up. So this is, of course, dropping off at the market right now. This could be a great stock to follow, really. I mean, right now or any given day. Uh, I'm going to pass on it. I want to see if there's any other stocks that aren't reporting after the bell, at least so we can kind of wait to see what happens on those. And we'll check back in with Ford tomorrow morning. Odds are we'll have Ford on the watch list tomorrow morning, Ron. My belief is that it'll flatten out at 20 and be kind of like an ugly trade for the next hour or so. Just testing and breaking under and over 20 at first here. First time it did that today. So, if the market bounces, which does not look likely, but, granted, in the event where you might see a bounce in the market, perhaps the Ford trade can make a slingshot coming up. But otherwise, I'm going to pass on it here. All right, I'll tell you what, I'll look at Benzinga Pro here pretty quickly, folks. Ari did call out the Roblox trade, I think, right? RBLX. So let me actually look at that quick. I'm sorry, Ari. Just checking that out right now. Yeah, it's dropping off, right? I mean, very tradable in the sense of the order book. Again, pretty expensive, but the order book seems to be pretty liquid or at least a tight spread. So, hey, if you've done well on it today, Ari, or if you're in the trade right now on the short, I'm sure you're cleaning up on it. I want to follow something that's either at the highs or at the lows. So if there's a stock that's at the lows, or maybe, again, we'll look at now UVXY, of course, an ETF that's completely running as the markets are falling off. So, yeah, of course, we got to add UVXY now at this point, to the list. SQQQ perhaps otherwise, kind of them in tandem. SQQQ is inverse for the NASDAQ 100 and really inverse to QQQ. Chuck asking if I could look at the SPY chart over, say, a couple of months to provide perspective. Chuck, my computer might explode if I do that. No, I really mean it. Like, it may actually may explode. I don't want to do it. It may freeze everything up, especially for all of us joining us on YouTube right now or Facebook. Perhaps just once I jump back on the mic later on today, I could do it. But we'll see. Maybe I'll take a picture of it on my other screen and send it to you here in the chat board. American Airlines dropping off. That's at the lows. So, that could easily be a stock we could add to our list. Let's just check out the others here in the meantime. That was a good call from James or Jim. And Neo dropping off. Again, this is just, always a tradable stock we can keep in mind. Take a look at Fuel Cell, perhaps. This one's kind of a slower trade. Going to pass on this at least. Maybe look at Plug otherwise. Not doing a whole lot. Let's look at UAL. Maybe we'll look at Jets altogether, the airline ETF. I was going to say something really mean. It's going to be kind of a nice rip to Fausto, but we have our company dinner later on tonight. So I don't want to say it because he would have to get me back in return. So all I'll say is Jets, the airline ETF, and not the football team. It's dropping off. It kind of looks like the football team there. All right. So with that in mind, maybe we do add UAL, maybe we do add AAL, and kind of keep those airlines in mind heading into the close. I hope he's not listening, Brian. No, the Giants did just as bad. Giants are a pathetic football team, and especially what had happened over the last couple of days. That is an atrocity. JetBlue from Leda. Yeah, a little slow, right? So, like, as far as the airlines, I'm going to more so focus on UAL, AAL. It's good to have UAL back in our price range again. Save Spirit. I'll pass on this one. This one's not really trading a whole lot of volume per minute. Doug asking about the BON trade on YouTube, joining us today. Welcome back, Doug, one of our regular attendees joining us here on YouTube. Asking about BON, not doing a whole lot right now. It's up 21%. High of the day. Well, hold up. It's approaching high of the day. It didn't look like it was because the pre-market was total crap for this trade, BON. But this is where I say it kind of reminds me, like, between this one and what was it, the other one, the BCDA trade. What was it, like the OLB stock, and then the other one, the MDJH. We ended up following that a little bit heading into the afternoon. I think yesterday we were pretty hopeful. Just didn't really provide us really any sort of good move, right? So that's where I'm a little reluctant, Doug. I appreciate the shout there, and actually, I mean, well, literally right now, as I come back to it, I think it's shaking back down. So I think we know our answer now. So I guess that confirms it. We're going to pass on this one here, the BON. All right, folks, I think that just about does it for me. I think in total, how many do we have on our watch list now? We'll check back in on cold, I guess, here at the end, too. We got 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 stocks to work with, 8 stocks, 7 stocks, 2 ETFs, maybe 3 coming up here on cold. I'll tell you what, volume really dropped off on the cold trade since 2:30. It's only trading about 6,600 shares per minute. That's really not a whole lot. Chart actually looks spotty since we started the meeting. A couple of gap ups and downs that I don't really like. So actually, we'll pass on this. That's all right. All right, so for all of us on YouTube and Facebook Live, just once more, if you wanted to join us inside our live trading room, just go right down to the link on the banner below. If you're not ready to do that just yet, no problem. Just if you have any questions, feel more than free to send over a quick email. I always like to post my email here at the end of these broadcasts, josh@ctutrading.com. For all of our students inside our live trading room, you folks know better. You folks know that you could always private chat me one-on-one inside the live trading room. We could always talk here on the side during market hours. But for all of us on the streams, I always like to post my email here just in case you folks have any questions. But again, I appreciate you sticking with me each and every day, each and every afternoon. And for all of us live inside the trading room now, I'll be back on the mic just shortly after one of our coaching calls coming up. Myself and Alex are going to be trading here probably I reckon the square trade, if not square, then snap, one of those shorts heading into the close. All right, folks, I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.